everybody. Well, I think it's finally time we start covering MultiVersus. I have, of course, made videos on MultiVersus already. However, for a while now, I've been holding back covering many of the leaks going on with it. There were various reasons for that, but the main reasons were, number one, because the leaks are mostly data mines of a closed alpha test for the game. A lot of the data mined information we learned about was confusing at first. Actually, much of it is still a bit confusing. And I couldn't actually show anything from the data mine anyway, without likely getting the video taken down. When the data mines happened for MultiVersus, leaks were being scrubbed clean from the internet about them, so I decided not to make a video. And the other reason I haven't really been talking about MultiVersus is that it didn't seem ready to start revealing characters yet. It didn't feel like marketing for MultiVersus was looking for that kind of coverage. It felt like the marketing of the game was still in the early stages and wasn't ready for heavy character speculation. Well, now on May 19th, another closed alpha is starting for MultiVersus. And this time there's no NDA attached to it, so players will be sharing footage of the game and their thoughts on it. Plus, more information might come out again like it did before with the data mines of the last closed alpha. And earlier this week, we got a reveal trailer featuring two more fighters, Taz and the Iron Giant, two characters that were part of the data mine leak. So with them revealed, that now confirms at least part of it. With this latest reveal trailer, it feels like MultiVersus is inviting players to get excited for the game now. So I think the hype train for MultiVersus has finally left the station, and it's time to start regularly covering the game and speculating about it. Alright, so I'm still not going to show anything from any of the data mines, but I am going to explain it all as best I can, and talk about which characters have leaked, or at least we now believe are probably coming to MultiVersus. Keep in mind this game is a work in progress, and anything can change behind the scenes, so no characters we talk about being leaked in this video are guaranteed to show up in the end. But I'll be covering all the major character leaks that have happened so far, and I'll go over them in the order we learned about them. This video should get you entirely caught up for what's been going on with MultiVersus, leak and character-wise, right up until the latest closed alpha that starts on May 19th. But before we talk character leaks and speculation stuff, let's first briefly discuss what's been happening with MultiVersus lately. And then I'll go back and sort of chronologically talk about the history of leaks and rumored characters with this game. Okay, so back on May 11th, we got this tweet, and it says things have been very quiet lately, but they are ready to start things up again and promised 3 new match debuts. The next day, we got some videos of Tony Hyun, the game director of MultiVersus. So essentially, Tony is our MultiVersus equivalent to Sakurai, to make the Super Smash Bros. Speculation analogy here. The videos were of Tony playing some matches against some special guests. And the footage was pretty cool to see, but even more exciting was the announcement of another closed alpha beginning on May 19th. This time it would be available globally and on lots of different platforms, like the PlayStation and Xbox, and feature crossplay between them. Plus, there's no NDA this time, so those who get into the closed alpha can share footage online. Sadly, the game hasn't been announced for Switch yet, but hey, maybe there's hope one day it will be. They also announced that MultiVersus would be coming to EVO this year with a $100,000 prize pool. It's a 2v2 tournament, which seems to be MultiVersus' big gimmick, a focus on team-up play. And then MultiVersus also dropped a new trailer called You're With Me, which focuses on the tag team 2v2 theme. This video was just kind of tweeted out without warning, whereas they did give us a heads up about the devs versus pros videos. Wish they had given us a heads up about this trailer, said something that this was coming, as it would have been nice to be able to react to it in a live stream, but I digress. When they tweeted out this trailer, it's also when they announced there'll be an open beta in July, so everybody will be able to play MultiVersus in July. Anyway, the trailer revealed 2 new characters, the Tasmanian Devil and the Iron Giant. We had already been told a list of characters that would be available to play as in the upcoming closed alpha, but also apparently it seems Taz will be playable there as well. I guess they just didn't say it before because he wasn't revealed yet. Anyway, the CGI trailer was really great. I love some of the team-ups we saw here, like Batman and Shaggy instantly teaming up, since they have a history together. I've been watching them team up since I was a little kid in the 80s. And of course, the highlight being the Iron Giant getting to team up with his hero, Superman. I've heard some people complain about the Iron Giant fighting in this game since he's a pacifist, but like, this isn't exactly something new for platform fighters. They kind of take wacky characters and make them fight anyway. But regardless of that, I really dug this trailer. The first few fighters got revealed in these clever images of them missing from their shows in tweets. And I actually like that as a way to reveal the characters, but I hope CGI character reveal trailers become the norm from here on out. Taz, the Iron Giant, and Velma got added to the MultiVersus website, and continuing the trend we'd already seen with having voice actors, they have voice actors as well. Very happy to see this game bringing in this talent. It definitely will enhance the experience a lot. So Velma had actually already been revealed a while back, but it was probably the most lackluster character reveal I've ever seen. It was literally a tweet without even a picture of Velma. This was probably because she leaked and the devs felt they had to reveal her. Having the devs forced into a lackluster reveal was also partly why I decided not to cover MultiVersus leaks back then. Again, they just didn't seem ready for that kind of intense character speculation. But after this reveal trailer, I feel like the floodgates are going to be open. The trailer ended with this awesome character lineup, reminds me a bit of the Smash banner, honestly, and maybe this will be our MultiVersus equivalent of the Smash banner. Tony has said they might do something similar when someone asked about a character banner for MultiVersus. Or maybe this image will slowly fill up with fighters. Who knows? People are speculating about the glowing portals that happen behind the fighters as the trailer ends, and no new characters are added with those glowing portals, whereas before characters were showing up with them. This happens a few times at the end of the trailer, so maybe that indicates more characters who will be joining later. I don't know. And I'm really happy to see the Iron Giant looking giant in this picture. Seems huge characters are not out of the running for this game, and there's even a big empty spot next to him for probably another one. Speaking of other characters, if we take a look at the copyright for the game now, it's changed and added a few things since last time. It now has Rick and Morty and Space Jam. They've been added to the list of copyrights. We have some speculated leaked fighters from those franchises, so this certainly helps their likelihood of actually showing up. However, I've also heard Bugs Bunny has a Space Jam alt costume in the game, and Mr. Meeseeks is basically a training dummy in MultiVersus. So this updated copyright might have only happened because of those things and not specific playable characters being added, but we'll talk much more about that in a bit. Regardless though, that seems like a good segue into character leak and speculation talk. Fair warning, if you don't want possible spoilers for MultiVersus, you should probably stop watching now. Like I said before, I won't actually be showing any data mined information, but I will be discussing it. And once again, keep in mind this game is still being made. Anything can change behind the scenes. So even if a character appears to have a strong leak going in their favor, anything can change internally before the game actually gets released. So none of these speculated data mine characters are guaranteed to show up. Remember Chorus Kids being leaked early on for Smash Bros. Wii U and 3DS? By the time the game came out, it seemed those characters had been cut, even though data for them still seemed to be in the game. So likely they got cut before release for whatever reason, and they still have never shown up in Smash. Once again here with MultiVersus, especially considering all the negotiations that go into having a massive crossover game, any character info that gets data mined might not actually see the light of day. So don't 100% bank on anyone showing up for sure, no matter what we talk about here. Alright, so I think the best way to explain the leaks we've seen with MultiVersus is to go over it all chronologically. We first heard about MultiVersus as a leak, so let's start with that. This was way back in October of 2021. A Reddit post talked about the game before it was revealed publicly, and gave us a lot of information about supposedly how it was first conceptualized. They also gave a list of characters, some of which we've gotten officially revealed, and a few others we haven't yet. The characters we haven't gotten officially revealed but are on this leak include Gandalf, Fred Flintstone, Johnny Bravo, and Mad Max. They also mention Harry Potter and Ron Weasley, but also say they might have been cut because of some rights issues with using Harry Potter characters or something. So they're mentioned here, but specifically mentioned as basically not happening. Alright, so that was the original MultiVersus leak. Obviously that information seems to be from very early on, so who knows if any of that character info is now outdated or not. Shortly after that leak, Hungrybox started talking about MultiVersus as well. Hungrybox was saying they had heard some information about the game and claimed Rick Sanchez was coming, and started making videos covering what they had heard. Jeff Grubb also mentioned the game was real and said LeBron James might be planned as DLC or something. So let's add Rick and LeBron to the list of supposedly leaked characters we had heard about back then. The next major leak we got was an image leak of the game's roster. Hungrybox made a video about this image leak and the video got taken down, basically confirming the leaked image was likely legit. The image had 13 characters on it, all of which we've seen now except for two of them, Gandalf and Rick. MultiVersus and the character portraits themselves hadn't been revealed officially yet, and since they line up with what we've now seen officially, that image leak is basically confirmed to be real. So while I'd be cautious of banking on most characters making it in for sure, Gandalf and Rick seem inevitable to show up at some point. Alright, then on November 18th, a day before my birthday, MultiVersus was officially revealed to us, confirming this game's existence and confirming that roster image. Happy birthday to me. And that was basically what we had to go off of for a while there, until they started doing these closed alpha tests. During the second tech test at the end of February, the game started getting data mined. There were lots of claims about which characters were being found in the game's code. Things got pretty messy and confusing with conflicting information online. The devs also started denying characters people were claiming were coming to the game, and tweeting things out like, "The King of Monsters is still on Earth. Not everything you may read about is true, Doc." That was in response to someone asking about Godzilla coming to MultiVersus. This was also around the time where so much had leaked for Velma, the devs seemed to be forced to reveal her in the most uneventful way possible. Just a tweet without even an image of her. Now, I'm no data miner myself, and I don't claim to be an expert on any of that internal code type stuff, but I was following all of this as it happened, and I've seen a lot of this leaked stuff for myself. However, the data mine information got really messy back then. No one seemed to be completely sure what to make of most of it, and a ton of character names were being thrown out there and floating around online. Now it seems we have a better grasp on everything that was found and what was going on with it, and with the closed alpha coming on May 19th, it's possible more information could be found by data miners again. Unless, of course, the MultiVersus team does a really good job scrubbing the game's code to prevent further leaks now. Anyway, let's talk about which characters were found in the game's code during that second tech test. Once again, I don't guarantee any of these characters are coming for sure, and there's different tier levels of these potentially leaked fighters, based on how much stuff they have in the game's code that's actually pointing to them being exciting. Now, I mentioned the Naruto scroll being found in the data, but there's some other odd things in there as well. The oddest of which is a very detailed Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade cabinet. There's assets for that in the game. A Fix-It Felix Jr. arcade cabinet would be from Disney's Wreck-It Ralph, and so far we haven't seen anything Disney in MultiVersus. The running theory is that, maybe because the lead designer had worked on Disney stuff before, potentially this game was at one point being pitched to Disney. He proposed the idea and had designed some stuff to show off as an example of what the game could be like. But either Disney turned it down, or they simply decided to go to Warner Brothers instead of Disney. And now instead of a Disney platform fighter, we have a Warner Brothers platform fighter, but there's still some assets in the game from when they were considering pitching it to Disney or something. This is sort of a similar theory to Brute and Ninja potentially being early concept ideas for characters, maybe when the game had no licensing or wasn't planned on having any licensing like Warner Brothers, and they might just still be left over in the game's code from, again, before it became a Warner Brothers platform fighter. But again, those are just theories. There's also some stuff in the code referring to the Hulk of all characters. Hulk, of course, is a Marvel character, which again is Disney-owned, so it'd be a Disney character. They have said this game is open to anything, so maybe we could see some Disney stuff, like the Hulk showing up somehow, or maybe Hulk could be a skin for the Brute character. The way I described premium skins working in Brawlhalla, maybe Hulk is a skin you can purchase and put over the Brute original character. But honestly, who knows what's going on with the Ninja and Brute stuff to begin with, or if we'll even see them in the final game at all. So potentially Hulk could also have been an early concept when they were maybe planning to pitch it to Disney. Why there's some Disney-owned stuff in the code, we have no idea. It's a mystery for now. I will say when it comes to original characters, I'm happy with Raindog, mostly because their description has them being a never-ending story character. So they do actually represent a piece of media, even if they weren't actually in it. They're kind of a Falcor stand-in. Plus, supposedly the plot of MultiVersus has to do with the nothing from Neverending Story. So maybe if Ninja and Brute do end up as legitimate characters, they could tie into the main plot. And potentially they could also be Neverending Story characters too or something, if the nothing really is the main antagonist of MultiVersus. Also, with such heavy Neverending Story tie-ins to the main plot of the game, that could explain why Stranger Things might be the first outside of Warner Brothers franchise that could be getting a character with 11. The third season of Stranger Things had a pretty important Neverending Story reference in it. Anyway, my point is, so far with Raindog, I'm not mad about the original characters, but I definitely prefer to keep this game with known fighters from actual franchises rather than adding just a bunch of original characters. The Warner Brothers umbrella of media is gigantic, so it'd be a real shame to spend time on made-up brand new characters rather than continuing to add characters people already love from existing media. But regardless of original characters or existing characters, it seems like they're in it for the long haul. So I think in time we're going to see a massive amount of characters added to this game from all sorts of things. And since they aren't opposed to branching outside of Warner Brothers stuff, there's literally an endless amount of fighters to choose from. I will say, to get an idea of which characters they're probably leaning towards, Space Jam 2 might be a good place to look, as a lot of what we've seen in MultiVersus already was also in Space Jam 2. Also potentially Ready Player One. I could spend more time talking about interesting tweets from Tony speculating what that could mean for lots of characters' chances of getting in MultiVersus, but I think that kind of wild speculation is best left for a future video. Or I could sit here and list out all the characters I want to see, but I think a separate wish list focused video is a better place to do that. Right now, I don't even know who my most wanted character would be, mostly because the spectrum is so broad, I can't be sure I've even thought of every character that could happen for MultiVersus. Right now, I plan on maining Gandalf and Finn, as I love Lord of the Rings and Adventure Time. But we'll see what happens and who gets added. I might change my mind. I'm also hopeful with the strong focus on Scooby-Doo stuff, we could get Fred eventually. But if I start listing every character I want, this video is just going to go on forever. So again, let's save that wish list stuff for another video. Alright, so I hope this gets everyone caught up on the MultiVersus leak datamine stuff. I'm no datamine expert, so I hope I got this stuff right. Forgive me if I said anything wrong here, doing my best to understand it all. Anyway, this seems to be the list of characters we could be getting. And there's of course a few other fighters not on here that could be happening as well, like Fred Flintstone. And since the game is in it for the long haul, likely with time we'll see lots and lots of characters being added anyway. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed getting caught up with MultiVersus. I have not gotten an email to get into the closed alpha, so I'll probably just be watching other people play the game, but I'm really excited to see some footage go up online once people are playing that closed alpha. And if any more data mined information or something comes out about potential future characters. Right now, Gandalf main, but who knows, if there's somebody else, I could change it. I'll be making regular content for this game from now on, so expect more MultiVersus videos to come, especially if more stuff is discovered for potential future characters. I'll be covering that stuff as it happens now. If you guys have any thoughts or comments about any of the stuff I talked about in this video, leave them below.
Remember to like the video, leave a comment in the section below, and subscribe to PapaGenos!
Twitter, Patreon, Discord, Twitch.